If you are buying and selling a home at the same time in the San Francisco Bay Area, this video is for you. Buying and selling a home at the same time can be one of the singular most challenging situations that you could possibly face in your entire life, period. What do we do first? Do we sell our home first, but then risk the possibility of not finding the one, or get beat out on the home that we want, and then all of a sudden we're homeless? Or do we sell our home first and leave ourselves exposed because we don't know what price our current home sold for, and therefore we might be overextending our budget on the next property? The list goes on and on and on. There are so many what ifs. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the 4 strategies that I have successfully used to help dozens of Bay Area families buy and sell at the same time without the hassle, without the stress. And if you stick around till the end of the video, I'm going to share with you the one that actually most of them use, which is my bonus 5th strategy. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Danny Gould. I'm the CEO of the Selling Silicon Valley Group. Over the last 8 years, I've sold well over $200 million worth of real estate here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And needing to sell your home in order to buy is one of the most stressful, challenging experiences that a homeowner can face. I've been there dozens and dozens and dozens of times helping families navigate this situation. And we've come up with 4 different strategies that my team has used to successfully help Bay Area home buyers / home sellers navigate this process. And we actually created a free downloadable guide for you. So if you're interested in learning more about our strategies and going more in depth, way more than we can cover here on this video, then you can text the word MOVE UP to the number down below. That's MOVE UP to the number down below, and we will get you a link to download that free PDF. All right, so let's get into the strategies, and I'm gonna be going over the pros and the cons of each strategy. The first strategy is probably the most basic and the most common one, and that is the Rentback strategy. And so what we're gonna do is we will come in, we will list the property for sale, and we are going to negotiate a rentback from the buyer that is buying your house. What that means is essentially you're gonna stay in the property and lease the property from them for up to 60 days after we close escrow. So from the time that we open escrow, meaning that we're in contract with your buyer, to the time that you are out of the property, typically 90 to 120 days, assuming a 30 to 60 day escrow. A lot of times buyers are able to close a lot sooner, but we can typically negotiate at least a 30-day escrow and sometimes a bit of an extended escrow, which doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost the buyer anything, it just extends escrow. And then after that, we could tack on an additional 60 days. So I've had it where we negotiate a 60-day close and a 60-day rentback, which basically makes it a 120-day period of time that you have to search for, identify, enter contract, and close on your replacement property. Now, I will say that this is the second most used option that our clients personally use. The biggest pro here is that you get to sell on your own terms, and you are not going to be put in a position to sell your home for less than you want for it. See, if we do it in reverse and we buy first, then you're pretty much leaving yourself exposed and having to sell usually. And sometimes clients don't like that added pressure of like needing to sell their home and not knowing whether or not they're going to be able to get their price. So if you are more focused on what your home sells for than anything else, this is probably the best strategy for you, or at least one of the best ones. Now, the biggest con with this strategy is very understandable, and that is the fear of being homeless, meaning the rentback's gonna run out and you're not gonna be in your next property yet. And while this is a very valid fear, a very valid concern, I can tell you that of all the clients that I've helped use this rentback strategy, we have never once, that is literally a 100% batting average in terms of getting them into their perfect replacement dream home property. We've never had it where they run out of time and they're not able to get into contract. So the fear is definitely valid, and the concern is definitely founded in a very real possibility, which is that you don't find your replacement home. The worst case scenario there is that you run out of time, you have to move into another home first, or another short-term rental, and then move into your dream home at a later point in time. All right, so strategy number 2 is making an offer contingent on the sale of your home. Now, what this means is that you are going to essentially list your home, but we're not gonna put it on the market. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna keep it off market. And during that time, we're going to be looking for properties and making offers on homes. At some point, you're gonna find the perfect one, and we're gonna make an offer. But the offer is basically gonna have a contingency or a stipulation in place that says, we are only gonna buy this house if we're able to sell our current home. Now, in principle, this sounds really awesome. And actually, it's like probably the most favorable to you, right? You get to buy and sell pretty much on your own terms. But the difficulty with that, especially in the Bay Area where the housing market is so competitive, and as a buyer, you are always usually fighting for properties, is that if a seller has even two offers in hand, and one of them has a sale of property contingency, like you have, and one has no contingencies, which one do you think they're gonna take? Especially if they're at the same price. Now, if yours is like $100,000 more, or like $200,000 more, then what they're probably gonna do is they're gonna counter this buyer, and they're gonna say, hey, can you come up and match this person's price because they have a contingency and you don't? So you are always putting yourself at an extreme disadvantage in the negotiations, because either you are not gonna get a house, or you're gonna have to pay the price to beat out everyone else. And I think it goes without saying that the likelihood of getting our offer accepted, and the biggest con with this particular strategy, is that more often than not, like, you're gonna get laughed out of the room when writing a contingent offer. So this is a strategy that basically none of our clients have used, except in times where the inventory is higher or the demand is lower, or a combination of the two. So a perfect example would have been like the fall of 2022. We were getting contingent offers accepted because it was more of a buyer's market than a seller's market. And so those sorts of things, this type of strategy works better in a buyer's market, not so well in a seller's market. All right, so strategy number 3 is the bridge loan. What is a bridge loan? Well, a bridge loan is essentially a loan that is going to help you bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be, and effectively helps you secure a new property while still holding on to your current one. And then once you move into that property, you're going to sell your current home. Now, the pros to this are, again, you get to do things on your own terms. You get to buy without the pressure of like a time constraint, like, oh, I can only have like 90 or 120 days to get into a home. So that is definitely a huge plus. And there's not necessarily like any real pressure to get rid of your existing home, except for the fact, and this is the con, is that bridge financing is expensive. And so every month that you hold on to your current property, you're paying basically a double mortgage, and the costs start to really add up. Another con to consider is that bridge loans are actually pretty difficult to qualify for. You basically have to show like, hey, I can float these two mortgages at the same time. Another version or variation of the bridge loan, and I would categorize this in the same category, is getting a loan on your second property, renting out your first one. Now, the pro to this, again, is that you get to buy on your own terms, which is like whenever you find the right one, you get to buy it. You exit the property, you rent it out, you count it as an investment property, and then at a later point in time, you can sell it. And you can offset a lot of your debt by counting the rental income on your exiting property. So the home that you're currently living in, you can offset a good portion of that mortgage, of that debt, by counting the future rental value, the future rental potential, to offset your current debt to income. Now, the biggest con with this strategy, there's really two of them. The first one is that you need to have the down payment liquid to buy on the replacement property. So a lot of people don't have the money to put down a second down payment when they already have so much equity and so much money tied up into the first property. So that already eliminates a good portion of the buyers. The other con is that you're not going to be able to like sell your exiting property right away. And so if you are putting pretty much all of your savings into that second property, you're going to be cash strapped at the end of it, or at least have the potential to be. And so a lot of buyers, for those reasons, just opt to not go down that route. But if you have those funds available to buy that second home without needing to sell your first one, then absolutely, that is a good strategy to use. And finally, the fourth strategy that my clients have used to successfully buy and sell a home here at the same time is the short-term rental route. And what that means is my clients sometimes decide that, hey, to avoid the pain of having to like go through all of this and like be under the pressure of having to sell and buy at the same time, why don't we just vacate our current property, move into a 6 to 12 month lease, and then take our time to buy our next one. And in terms of the overall pressure of the situation, this is the best strategy to alleviate the most amount of pressure. Why? Well, you can sell on your own accord, on your own terms. If you agree to a price, if you like it and everything, then you can accept it. You move into your short-term rental. Then you get to take your time, adjust to the new market, figure out what's going on, make an offer on your dream home, and then move in. So it really feels like the perfect combination of everything, except for one small thing. And this is the biggest con, is that in an appreciating market, a lot of times, and in the few times that my clients have opted for this strategy, because I will say that only a few of my clients have used this strategy before. And of the few that have used this strategy, none of them have ever bought a home again. So they get out of the market And unfortunately, when you sell a home here in the Bay Area, you're accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Well, the market has appreciated. And so if we don't get back into the market right away and buy a home right away, the market is going to continue to appreciate and oftentimes leaves you behind. And so I've seen it several times now where my clients have the intention of buying again, but the market continues to outpace the amount that they're able to save month over month over month over month. And that dream home that they were once like able to buy in that moment continues to grow further and further away. The dream of it, the possibility, the money required to do that, like the delta starts to increase as time goes on. So that is definitely a big con to be aware of if you decide to go for that strategy is, hey, if we're actually going to do this, then like we can do the short-term rental route, but instead of saying, hey, in 12 months, we'll revisit the market, the entire time we should be looking for homes. And if we find the right one, we should get into a short-term rental situation that will allow us to break lease early, maybe for a small fee. That's a small price to pay for the possibility of getting back into the market sooner rather than later. Because as I said, the longer we wait, usually the larger that price delta increases, and eventually we get priced out of the market altogether. All right, so you made it this far in the video, and I did promise you a 5th bonus strategy. But before I do that, if you've made it this far in the video and you're not yet subscribed, well, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, give us a thumbs up while you are at it. It costs you absolutely nothing, and you'll get notified every time I post another video just like this one, and helps me get in front of more Bay Area home buyers and sellers just like you. All right, so now that you hit that subscribe button, now I can give you what you waited for, which is our most frequently used move up strategy in the Bay Area. Dozens of our home buyers have taken advantage of what we call our trade-in program here at SSV. We work with a lender who essentially lets you buy and sell at the same time with basically all of the upside and very little downside. What our partner does is they pre-approve you for a loan, and at the same time, make you a guaranteed offer on your current property. They float you the money to go out there and buy your replacement home. And once you close on that replacement property, we here at Selling Silicon Valley, we get to work, we list the property for you, we put it on the market, and then when we sell it, you get a check for the amount that the home sells for. Now, there are some costs associated with this, and I can't get so specific on this video because it really depends on your situation. It depends on the size of the home and the scope of work and everything. And so if you're interested in learning more about this product that dozens of our clients have used to successfully navigate this buying and selling situation at the same time, you can text the word trade-in. You can text the word trade-in to the number down below, and one of our representatives will reach out to you and explain to you the process. And if it works for you, it doesn't work for everyone. This is not like a program that like works for every single client out there. But if it does work for you, we can set you up with a discovery call with one of our team members to get you all the information that you need to make the best decision for you and for your family. Thanks so much for watching. This is Danny Gould, everyone. I'm Selling Silicon Valley, and I will catch all of you in the next video.